Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're back again.
Always look on the bright side of life.
You know what, Shigz? I decided after the game, because it was dead late and whatever, people have work and stuff. So I thought the next day we'll do it. Then something came up yesterday, so we couldn't do it. And then I thought by tomorrow the dust might have settled and I might feel a bit better about it.
Nah.
I don't, mate, because I seen that Champions League draw today and I looked at the side we could have been on had we flipping got a result against Napoli, and we're not there, mate. So how are you, Shigz?
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the draw, but you know what it is? Like when I saw I'm good. When I saw the draw, I was just like, man.
Huge opportunity missed, mate.
Yeah, but listen, let's be honest, the way we've played this season, we didn't deserve it. So it is what it is. We didn't deserve it. So yeah.
Let's go, Elliot, what are you saying, mate? How are you?
I'm good. I did see the draw. I tried not to get too involved with it because, as Shigz said, I don't think Liverpool deserve to be there anyway. No. But it is a bit of a disappointment because, you know, a couple of little goal swings here and there, and you never know what happens. But again, I didn't dwell on it too much. Tried not to anyway.
No, exactly. And look, I am saying in hindsight, like we would have been on that side of the draw, but let's be real, most of those teams on that side probably would beat us this season. So yeah, I don't think there's much point, like you say, reading too much into it. But guys, obviously we're here today to talk about Liverpool's 1-0 defeat at the Bernabeu, 6-2 on aggregate. We're out of Europe officially. I mean, I think me and Shigz were on that page anyway. It was only Mohammed who seemed to have a bit of optimism. But we haven't spoken to him since. I need him to answer for his crimes, giving me some sort of hope. Honestly, I started to... when Mohammed was speaking, I was thinking, you know what? He might have a point if there's a goal in the first 15 minutes. But Shigz, let's just get straight into it. There wasn't anything in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Bro, I knew we weren't winning this game, bro. I knew. Listen, ever since we did what we did to that Ancelotti, he's got a vendetta against us, bro. Anytime he sees any type of red jersey, is on site.
Sold us, sold me.
I said, bro. You're going to do this to me? He said, right, watch. Whenever I get them, boy, to the sword. And, if it wasn't for Alisson, they would have won by a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Elliot, again, we were speaking about Liverpool need a quick goal. We need to start on fire. We need to kind of take the game to them instantly. How disappointing was your mate seeing the way we set up in that first 20, 25?
It was, I don't even know how to describe it because I went into the game thinking, listen, it's going to be a miracle. But Liverpool have been capable of miracles under Jurgen Klopp in Europe. And if they're not capable, they're capable of giving it a go. And they look scared, that Liverpool team. And I've never seen a Jurgen Klopp team look scared. And it's kind of like, I know you have the Brighton and Wolves results earlier on a couple of months ago. And you kind of say, yeah, end of an era. But I think that was the proper end of an era for me. A Jurgen Klopp team, Liverpool team in Europe, looking terrified to go at a team when they needed goals. I've never seen, we haven't seen that before, I don't think we can say. And I was more than disappointed. I just thought, surely you go for it. And then in this first 20 minutes, as Shigz just alluded to, there was nothing there. And it's kind of almost like they were scared. And I've never seen that. And I was quite shocked, to be fair.
They just got beat 5-2, bro. Yeah. They didn't want to open up.
I know. But I would have rather seen them get beat 5-2 again because go for it. Go for it.
I'm not trying to see that Arsenal scoreline again, 10-4.
I know. But if there's some sort of fight and desire, maybe it probably wouldn't have been 5-2 again because it's a shock result, really. But I just think you've got to show something, especially when he goes 4-2-4. Well, it's meant to be 4-2-4, but then as I mentioned in the last podcast, he shoehorns Gakpo in the midfield. I didn't understand it. It was awkward. It was strange. It didn't make sense to me. I just think there should have been a much more of a better plan or belief. There wasn't any. It was disappointing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope, is my connection okay? Because I've got the Wi-Fi at the top.
What's that?
Am I lagging a bit?
Just like the side, yeah.
That's how Liverpool were playing in the Bernabeu.
Shigz, just take over for 1 sec, yeah?
Yeah, no problem, bro. But yeah, no, it was you know what it was, Elliot? The most disappointing thing for me was that I don't know. Maybe I'm going into a tangent, but that Barca game, the more and more we got closer to the kickoff, the more and more I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this."
Yeah.
But at no point did I get any type of thing to say, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna sort this out."
Yeah.
At no
I think
point.
there was a slight difference. I think. Well, I say slight big difference. Anfield is the biggest thing for any sort of comeback, isn't it? So we're already on the back foot, but I think 5-2, as I said, shock result, but I just wanted to see some sort of agency. The first 20 minutes, you've got Trent putting balls out of play. You've got no sort of link up in the front.
Yeah.
I want to say front four, but you look at the average positions. Gakpo is in the midfield position that Elliot's been in, and it's like, why bother throwing him in there when he hasn't played there? And Shot has been rusty. I think it's 29 games without a goal. I know he's been injured, but it's not good form. I don't know why he threw him in. It just didn't add up to me. And then the performance, I was thinking, is there any point of really watching this? But
yeah, no, I agree, and I think this is the important thing for me. I made a big thing before the game in the morning. I woke up thinking, you know what, we are going to go out tonight. I'm not deluded. I'm not that silly enough to feel like we can do this. But one thing I did say is I can take losing. Right, I've been a Liverpool fan for a long time. We know how it feels to lose a run of games, and we know how it feels to win a run of games. So it's like I know how to take losing, no problem. But when it's losing, when you kind of don't even try, you're 5-2 down, you don't even give any ounce of urgency, dignity. There was nothing. There was no pride. And these are all words that I've used to describe this team. This team has made me feel like, and this club has made me feel like the proudest fan in the world in the last 5, 6, 7 years. No one can talk to me about their club in the last 5 years because my club's done way more. But what I wanted to see in that game was at least try. And I'm not saying go all guns blazing to get absolutely battered like Shigz. I know you're saying about the Arsenal, but just not even a little bit more, just a lot more than what they showed. The body language, and Alisson alluded to it, and I just want to get this quote up because I don't want to misquote the great man. I will call him the great man because that's exactly what Alisson Becker is. But Alisson Becker said this: I'm wearing the Liverpool shirt and I'm going to play against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. The least I have to do is give my best. I believe I did my best. We didn't play enough to tie the game, and there was a lack of attitude. A lot was lacking on our part. Shigz, when you see that quote from a Liverpool player, he's obviously referring to his teammates.
Bro,
that's bad. That's bad.
Bro, I don't know if you was in the space. I think there was a space yesterday that there was in, and I was talking about the whole team, and I was saying like, look, Alisson is the only one that can come off that pitch with his head held high. He's the only one. He's the only one. Like none of it. I get it. Like Elliot and you've been saying, I get it. Obviously, the game is lost, but that's the most lifeless, hapless. I'm lost for words. I've never seen a Klopp Liverpool team be so energy-less. Like I don't understand it. Like it kind of continued on from Bournemouth. Like it's just like, what's happened to these guys, man? Like I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think though it's the worst thing, isn't it? After again, it goes back to the Bournemouth game. Obviously, any loss to Bournemouth should be a disappointment, and it will be. But Liverpool probably played the best football before the Bournemouth game and them run of games, and then they come back to these two games. It's like, well, what was the point in putting a few results together if you're just going to play like that anyway? There's the consistency, the lack of it is alarming to say the least.
Absolutely, mate. And it's like, you'd think that, and again, we fought this so many times this season, that the loss to Bournemouth, the loss to Forest, the loss to Leeds, I could go on and on, but you'd think that there'd be a wake-up call and, they'd actually think, like, hang on a minute, we're literally getting beat by relegation fodder all season long. Let's actually try and turn it around. And obviously, the United 7-0, I think no one's even talking about that anymore. That's how deflated we are. But, in fact, stuff it. Let's talk about that for the rest of the season.
No, but you know why we're not talking about it? Because I don't want it to be because our biggest thing of the season, we beat United 7-0. That's not a...
No, of course, no, I get it. And That's what I'm saying. So you'd think that eventually, they will wake up. And I've been saying all season, like, they'll turn it around. But we're running out of games. We're running out of time. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm thinking, I'm going to have to start talking to my manager about finishing work at 5 o'clock next season to watch those 5:45 games. Like, I said to Nathan
to
today,
catch the
like,
5:25 kickoff, yeah?
Yeah, mate, the Europa League final next season is in Dublin. I said to Nathan, that's great for me and you, mate. That's just a flight across the water. We're at a Europa League final.
Okay.
To get there.
Serious
We'll
question.
get the credits up. We'll be sound. We'll be there.
Serious question.
I'm joking, by the way. I don't want to be.
No. But do you think we'll be in the same position next season?
What do you mean?
In terms of how we're playing, in terms of... No?
I think that's that. I don't want to give an answer to that because I think that's in the balance for me at the moment. And I think that's probably the worry is this transfer window is the most important one that we've probably seen on the club. We all said that last season. Well, I say did last summer, sorry. And realistically, Liverpool only signed Nunes because Carvalho and Ramsey have not been first team players. So
I'm going to speak on Carvalho as well.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but that window was shocking. This one has to be the biggest and most expensive under Klopp. So if he does get that, which again is also in the balance, but if he does get that, and then you go into next season, you can accept the transitional phase. But you can't accept this transitional phase, which is happening right now, where Liverpool are battling with the likes of Brentford and Brighton for European spots with the greatest of respects to them. Liverpool have been on 97, 99 points, all in the 90s against Manchester City. You can't have another season fighting 6th and 7th.
Absolutely. We're just getting some comments before we move on because there's a few here. Make sure you're smashing the like button and subscribing as well, guys, if you haven't already. But Kadir says, big up, lads. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. Kadir. Let me know, mate. Big Beast UFC. I'm sure he's looking forward to the weekend. Says, what was even the point of going to play that game? A double pivot of Fabinho and Milner. We'll get on to that. We're gonna talk about that. When your keeper is calling out bad attitude of the players, it's alarm bells. 100%. And that's that.
Bro, I said it.
It's
I think, and I'm not sure what you guys feel about a goalkeeper having this role. I think he's captain material.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see if he gets one of the vice captain roles next season.
I would take it off Van Dijk in a heartbeat. I would take off him in a heartbeat. That performance against Bournemouth, bro. I know I keep going about it, but it's annoying me so much that I would take off him. I would take off him. Rags, and I don't care if you're going. Would
you give it Alisson?
Yeah, definitely in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no,
that's the thing. Isn't there? There's meant to be loads of captains in this team. You wouldn't think so this season.
Yeah, no, there's that leadership group, isn't there?
Yeah, there's plenty of national captains, and you would not think it at all this season.
Absolutely. Kadir says, I know it's not the segment for this, but FSG have to go, man. Already excuses coming out about signings. We are in danger of being left behind. I'm sure we'll get some transfer talk a bit later. And Van Dijk said something about new players coming in after the game. Yeah, I've got that tweet lined up as well.
Who cares about new players? Play your game, bro. Don't worry about players coming in. Make sure you do your job.
Shigz,
I'm fuming, man.
We'll get on to Virgil. I want to go back to this point here. Obviously, we had the very, very poor and sad and heartbreaking news yesterday that Stefan Bajcetic is out for the season. Obviously, he wasn't in the squad for this game. So I kind of didn't really see an alternative to this, to be honest. So I wasn't that mad about it. I didn't. And to be fair to James Milner, when he has come in, he's been one of the better players.
Yeah, I see. I want to agree so much. I do. I want to agree so much, but he's the best player because no one else.
It's good enough.
And I don't even want to call the player the best player. Alisson was the best player if you're going to say that. Obviously, out of the outfield players, I don't want to say anyone was the best because they're all mediocre. And there was no forward thinking. And Milner was safe. And I adore James Milner. I think he's been one of the best free signings you'll ever see in the Premier League. But he was playing safe. And it was almost like the all way, whether they've been told that or not, or whether they were a bit worried about another 5-2. I just don't think it's not an inspiring performance. And I don't think it was an inspiring team selection. So, but that's not a criticism of Milner. It's not a criticism of Milner.
Of course, it's not his fault. Yeah.
No, he should never be starting at 37 years old at the Bernabeu.
Shigz,
Can I ask you a question? Yeah.
you can ask whatever you want, mate.
Who in this squad do you say, okay, yeah, he's playing, like, I'm excited. Like, I've got to the point now, like, maybe Nunes.
What? So
Salah,
everyone in general, and you're saying everyone's fit, or just
like who for you?
Thiago, but he's never fit. When I go to a Liverpool match, I'm obviously going to watch the team, but when I see Thiago's playing, I just get so excited. But
this is
like
what
I
I'm
say,
saying.
that's been few and far
For
between
me,
the
it
season.
doesn't seem to be. I don't know. It just feels like
Luis
Liverpool,
Diaz was that guy as well before his injury.
Yeah.
I think the fact you're even asking that question says a lot, because I think last season you would have said you're excited to see the team. The couple of seasons before, you would have been you're excited to see the team. You could never pick a standout player.
That's my point, Elliot. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. Now you've got to pick a player. You've got to pick a player, and that's quite worrying because it should be a team. It was a team, and it was one of the best teams.
Elliot, right there, what you just said. That's my point. That's my It wasn't like you were looking forward to see any particular player. You were looking forward to see how well the team played. Because on any given Saturday, Mane would turn up, Salah would turn up, Van Dijk would turn up with a header from a corner, Trent would turn up with a worldie. Like but it would be all within a good team performance. The team, the lowest rated player would probably get a 7.5, the lowest. Now 4, 5, 6s are given out like they're hot, like they're sweets. And it's like, how I get it that we played so many games last year. I get that, and then we missed out, but we still won something. I'm speechless as to how a team can get to play every game they could last season, and this season be a shadow of themselves.
I think.
Do you know what?
It's part. Sorry, Ben, but I think what you've just said is part of the point, isn't it? They played every game this season, and that element, I do feel sorry for them. I know it sounds like quite patronising to call like a professional athletes to say you feel sorry for them, but I do. I think the best example is Basetic. He's been run into the ground already. Fabinho's been run to the ground. Hen's been run to the ground simply because there's been no addition. So you say they played all the games, which is a fantastic achievement, and they played so well. But it's obviously part of the reason why they haven't been this great this season. So I do feel sorry for them a little bit.
Okay.
I feel sorry for certain players. There's some that I don't really. I just feel like they've dropped off. But one man I want to talk about, and I think there's going to be a couple of different opinions on this with myself and Shigz mainly, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I will defend this man till the hills. I don't care what anyone has to say. I will defend him. And I'll tell you why I'll defend him. But I want to hear from you boys first. Obviously, there's been some criticism from Jamie Carragher, former Liverpool.
Let me say this.
Legend, but player. And Shigz, he said that if Liverpool want to consistently get into the top 4, that Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't the man.
No. He didn't say he's not the man, but he said that he needs to be challenged. We need to buy another right back so that he doesn't, because
that's obvious. We've all said that.
No, but I agree with him in terms of the fact that if Trent doesn't play, who plays at right back?
Exactly. No, we've all agreed with that for the whole season, even last season.
So what he's saying in terms of Trent being challenged to realize that he's not going to get a game because Southgate hasn't picked him for England, and
he was never going to pick him.
But then look, at the same time, bro, you have to be accountable for your his own performances.
And even when Trent was the best right back in the world by an absolute mile, he wasn't playing for Southgate. So it makes
but even when he was, bro, his defending weren't the greatest, bro. There were still holes in his defending.
This is what I want to get onto, though, Shigz. Like when Trent was at his best, and I was saying this in a chat with a few of our lads that do the admin stuff. When Trent was at his best, Jordan Henderson was at his best, Fabinho was at his best, Gomez or Matip or whoever was at that right-hand side centre-back spot were at the best. And I'm not saying that you need to have all these factors to accommodate for a right-back because that's just ridiculous, right? You shouldn't have to have this many factors. But what I am saying is when the whole team goes to pot and you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold who you're asking to be your creative spark, pretty much the only creative player in that team left now. and then you're moaning at him because he's not getting back, he's not defending, he's getting beaten when he's got no cover. It's just for me, yes, has Trent Alexander-Arnold been poor this season? 100%. He's been rubbish. Like, everybody would agree with that. Do I feel like it's much more than Trent Alexander-Arnold's performances? 100%. There's something wrong with the system because every single time we play against a team that's half decent, they go down that side. And it's not just him, it's the centre mid, it's the centre back. They're all guilty of it. Mo Salah hasn't been tracking back as much this season either. So, yeah, I'm 50-50. Trent has been poor. His body language has been questionable in some games. But on the flip side of that, all these morons online that are saying that he's going to be Dele Alli 2.0 and he's finished, washed player, overhyped. It's a load of nonsense because are you telling me that the great fullbacks that we watching out, growing up like Dani Alves, etc., they never had one bad season?
No. Sorry, go on, you go. I feel like
I just alluding to the fact you said the system. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast as well, where it's a bit of an experiment on that right-hand side with Elliot. I think that's been a massive factor for Trent, and I don't think it's worked. And I praised Elliot to the hills after the Manchester United game, and I think I'd like to keep that up. I wouldn't want to criticise Elliot because there's a player there, no doubt, but I don't think that experiment's worked for Trent. And then you get all this criticism, which goes for Trent because of something which isn't his. It's not his doing. We know the role that Trent has in this midfield, in this team, and we know the role Henderson has in that midfield. And it was always to help Trent. And then you have Elliot, who's meant to be this creative attacking player. You can't have two of them on that side, and you can't have Elliot doing Henderson's role. That hasn't worked. And then Henderson hasn't been at it this season, which again, I go back to, I feel sorry because that midfield is one midfield where you have to run and run and run, and they've been ran into the ground. So it doesn't help Trent. Going back to Carragher's point, it's a bit of a rogue comment, a standalone comment, because the quote with the tweet kind of misleads you a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think he kind of is alluding to the fact that maybe if Liverpool are just challenging for top four and not challenging for titles because of the fact maybe they don't have the ball a lot or they're not dominating games, Trent maybe isn't that man. I still disagree with that though, because he has been that man. When Liverpool were transitioning into the side who became the top two in the league, Liverpool were going for top four, and Trent was definitely that man then. So why can't he be now?
We're not just gonna just because we had one, we're not gonna go back. Well, I hope we're not gonna go back to just battling for top four. Surely, this team's still good enough that if we get what we get, and we all know what we need, right? Everyone knows. We're not going to be competing for top four. We're going to be back next season if we get what we need, 100%. And this is a bit Shigz. I'm saying if we get what we need.
Okay. To be honest,
if we don't, we're finished. But if we get what we need, the centre mids, another forward maybe for the right hand side, another centre back, we'll be fine.
We need at least 5 players.
I'm not even sure we need 5, mate.
Bro, we need at least 5 players, in my opinion. Because I'm not even trying to be funny or anything. Matip is going.
I think I do agree with that number. To be fair, I think I agree with that.
Because it's not just about the midfield. Because obviously, Ox, KR, I don't know if Milner's gonna go. That's 3 midfielders gone. We need another backup defender because Matip is leaving. Who else? I would.
Is Matip leaving?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think his contract's up, but I think I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets.
So that's at least 4 players, bro. And that's not to talk about how many players, because the midfield needs to get over changed, bro. Because we don't have apart from Thiago. We don't have no midfielder that's forward thinking that will want to play a through ball for somebody.
Naby.
I don't see it. And not that they don't want to play it, but has the capacity to do it.
Naby, but he's been bombed out, bro.
Naby's he's his own worst enemy, man. He gets injured by
he's available
cut by a blade of grass.
He's available.
He's available, but he doesn't. You know me, Ben. I was his biggest fan when he came, but the guy. When I saw the guy kick the ground and then get injured, I said,
Listen,
what we
I'll never stop believing in my Naby lad.
It's such a shame, isn't it? Such a shame.
Wherever he goes, I will be there no matter what.
Baby, that's good for you, bro. But I saw the writing on the wall. After that, I said, nah, I can't.
Nah, you know what? Yeah, no, it is just like for me now. It's just in terms of like, I don't know. There's just something about Naby that I just always loved him, and obviously I've admitted I've conceded it's time for him to move on. I said
no,
that
he's a
for a
quality
long
player,
time.
Ben. This is the thing. He's a quality
More
player.
than quality player.
I'm not
He's a top
disputing
player.
that, but for us, for Liverpool, we ain't seen that Leipzig player. We ain't seen that player that can drop a shoulder and consistently play 20, 25 games. We haven't seen it.
I think he was coached a little bit to change his role, though. I think we can all accept that for every midfielder that Klopp signs. But I think it's such a shame because I think he would have been so perfect. But injuries just kill players, and unfortunately, it's done that to him.
But then also as well, then can I ask you a question, because this Bajcetic guy has got an abductor injury, the same kind of injury that Naby Keita used to get. Like, is there something? Because I'm starting to, the more things I break it down, the more and more I'm questioning the Liverpool team. Why is it that we as a team have the most injuries? The most. And it happens every season. That can't be a coincidence.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Without the information, really, you can't. I hate to speculate on possible, conspiracies that the coaching staff aren't good and all stuff like that. But there's got to be some sort of a link. I do agree that it's not good enough. It's not good enough for a team that's meant to be challenging. You have players injured every season for long times. It's just so.
Maybe it's just a case of like you give everything for 3-4 seasons, and then with what they've given, it's physically impossible. Because if you think about it, 18-19 and 19-20, from memory, we were actually quite all right with injuries. You could pick the 11 that would play for Liverpool week in, week out. I could do it right now. It would be Alisson, Robertson, Virgil, Matip, or Gomez, Trent, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson, Salah, Firmino, Mane. And that was it. It never changed. Maybe Shaqiri would come in, Divock would come in, Milner would come in every now and again, but the team will never change. And now it's like we go from game to game and we have no idea what the team's going to be.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is my good friend, Kevin. Now, my colleague as well as a good friend. Shigz, what's longer, Liverpool's list of excuses this season or the amount of girls that swipe left on Ben? Wow.
And that's your mate. What kind of mate is that?
I don't have Tinder, just to clarify.
Is that what you're doing, Kevin? I no comment. No comment. No comment.
You haven't really had excuses, though.
Who does Kevin support?
United.
You really should be asking questions like that, Kevin, bro. You really shouldn't. Okay, Kevin, I got a question for you. What's longer? Our list of excuses or the scoreline versus you lot at Anfield? Which one's longer? There you go. Stick that in your blunt and smoke it.
Kev doesn't do that. Not that you're not a good lad if you do that, by the way. That's not what I meant. But, moving on swiftly. Kev, I'm calling you Kev now. Shigz, you wanted to talk about Fabio Carvalho, and I think I know what you're going to say, mate.
Bro, listen. What Klopp is doing to this Carvalho guy is not the one. I'm sorry. Why are you going to bring this guy on 2 minutes left against Bournemouth and then do the same thing in Madrid? What? Why? You shot the guy's confidence, man. How old is he? 19. What? Why?
It's really strange, isn't it? I know I said last time.
I don't like that. I don't like that, man. I don't like that. That's unfair.
Yeah, it's not great. I said I didn't want to make too much of a big of a deal. The fact he got a couple of minutes against Bournemouth, and then before that, there was the whole thing. He's not getting on. And I think maybe it was a bit clever from Klopp because he took him out the firing line because he's meant to be this new signing and Liverpool struggling. But then to bring him on for 10 seconds against Madrid when it's been one of the worst games you'll probably ever watch.
Why?
It's really strange, and I don't want to say it's blah 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 blah, but I will say it's really strange, and I'd like to see him be handled differently from now to the end of the season because realistically, he should deserve a chance considering how poor Liverpool have been.
Exactly. Yeah. And for me, Fabio Carvalho, well, I think Shigz alluded to it in the last stream. I was excited to sign him. You know, we knew we were getting him for a long time. It was this saga, like this deal was going on for like a year. I think we had to pay a tribunal. I think it went through court, all that kind of stuff to get him. Pre-season, he did okay. You know, he scores the winner against Newcastle. And it's like, we've got a young lad here who I think could add something to the team. And for whatever reason, and I know we don't want to speculate on this podcast, but I just feel like something must have happened. That's my only logical explanation. Because, like you said earlier, like there's been games where Harvey's been playing on the left. There was a couple games a few weeks ago, and it's like, why not just put Fabio there because he can play there? He has played there, and you'd rather play Harvey Elliott out of position yet again than bring this kid in, and he's almost been written off. And I'm not saying he's fully written off because he's still a young lad. He's still got time on his hands, but right now it just feels like it's over before it's begun. And I don't know if that's, reactionary to say or if that's too dramatic, but that's just how it feels. It feels for me that I wouldn't be surprised if Fabio Carvalho goes on loan next season and then whoever he goes on loan
before Curtis Jones. Are you kidding me?
I think Curtis Jones will just go full stop.
Nah, that's
Nah, the reason why I think Curtis Jones will stay is because of the homegrown player.
Yeah. And I think they'll give him one more season, which Shigz clearly isn't happy with.
To be fair, Curtis Jones is another one. I know he's had injury problems, but the midfield
get Curtis Jones out of there, bro.
Shigz, he's not really. Again, this season, how many times have we seen Curtis Jones be given a chance?
I don't need to see him, bro. He needs to
so
be
you're happy with
Milnerson
and Oxlade Chamberlain came on against
that guy. That guy don't.
Ox is actually quite alright.
Yeah, Oxlade, that little skill.
That's
all I can take from that game. That little skill.
Someone said something. The reason he did that was so when he goes into negotiations in summer, you can say he played at the Bernabeu. And look what I did.
Yeah, like Nat Phillips with the Cruyff turn at the San Siro.
Hey, Nat Aldinho.
Curtis Jones is stealing a living, says Eunice.
You see.
I don't think. This is where I'll defend Curtis Jones. I think at the right club, there's a player in him. He's just not at the right club. He's never going to be a regular starter for this team.
He was like, when he was first coming through and first put into the midfield, not into the attacking role, I thought he was real promised there because he was, again, as I said with Kate, the kind of coach, aren't they, to be a bit more conservative in the midfield. And it seemed like Jones was doing that quite well. I think injury problems have got him. And I also think that, like Elliot, he probably is more of an attacker than a midfielder. So I think it's harsh.
In the academy.
Yeah, exactly. The goal against Everton, I know he's maybe lived off that, but he's played on the front three. He's linking up with Origi. It's a wonder goal, obviously, but he was fun. And watching him in the youth teams, he was so fun. And then to have that maybe coached out of him was kind of a disappointment, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like a lot of things are coached out of the Liverpool players. Like it's in terms
certainly the midfielders. I think the midfielders they get
with Wijnaldum when he played for us and then when he played for Holland, it's like
it's
mental. Do you remember when Thiago said that before he came to Liverpool he never pressed? He said Jurgen Klopp taught him how to press. That's mad.
It's fantastic, coaching. But then if you're taking things which should be by far the biggest positive out of a player out of them, I think then it's where you've kind of got to maybe judge what you're focusing on in a player.
Elliot, just to interject on that one, do you feel like if we bring Jude Bellingham in, and this is a big if at this point, I still think he's coming, by the way.
I don't.
Kill me. I still think he is.
Again, I'm not sure, but
Elliot, if he did come, do you feel like that's the same thing that will happen? We'll just kind of turn him into a dog rather than let him flourish in his attacking areas.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because he's obviously very good in attacking areas, but I think everyone kind of has this perception that he's maybe a box-to-box player, but his strengths are definitely attacking. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that he would be coached to fit our midfield. But then again, if you're coaching him to the fact where he's running just running, his main thing is running, like Wijnaldum maybe. I don't think he'd want him to be like that, but if you kind of use him as an example, I don't think it's going to be worth the triple figures you're going to have to pay for him. So you've got to be very careful with that, I think. But obviously it all comes back down to the fact that Liverpool actually do get him or not.
Shigz, when I mentioned Bellingham, you didn't seem convinced at this stage.
No, I don't think he's going to come.
I'm in the mud.
I don't think he's going to come just because of how much work needs to be done to this team.
I think that would be the selling point, though. I think that would be the selling point. Bellingham will be the reason Liverpool
This
get
team
back
will
up
be
there.
built around him, bro. And this man behind me will hand over that number. It's happening, bro. It's happening, man.
We're giving the number 8. I don't know. I'm sorry, Klopp. I've stopped believing, man. I've stopped because it's just.
Wait, hang on. What in Klopp?
No. In terms of this season, yes, I've stopped. Like, I'm not saying they should get rid of him, but I was saying this before, and I'm pleased. I don't. Ben, you know that I'm a big
No,
big
bro.
fan.
You say,
but at the same
place,
time,
bro.
there's so many things wrong at Liverpool at the moment, and it's not just with the team. It's the team, the coaching staff, the medical
Director
staff,
of football,
everything.
everything.
All of these things, bro. When we were flourishing, everything was in place.
Perfect.
When you don't have those things in place, things will fall through the cracks. And in this league, it's the small details that matter, the small ones that matter. And if you don't have them, it's the difference between you playing on a Thursday night and you playing on a Tuesday and Wednesday. I can't explain it any other better than that, bro. And it's just like the Michael Edwards leaves, and then the new guy that comes in leaves, and it's like, hold on, why is there a problem here? And then the medical staff, there's a problem there. Why is there having problems with the medical staff? Like, and it's just like all these things are culminating in the team not playing well. Like I've said it before, Alisson is the only one this season, and maybe Alisson is the only one that I could say he has kept his standard the way he's been for the past 4 or 5
I agree
seasons.
with that.
I'd argue Robertson.
Mate, okay, 2 out of the whole squad.
I know, but I think Robertson's been good this season. I feel, but that's my opinion.
And Elliot, you could be right, but what I'm saying is to you, how has everybody's standards dropped so high when our goalkeeper and our left back have maintained their standards? How?
Yeah.
How? And more importantly as well, who has allowed that to happen? I kid you not, bro. I keep going back to it because people are like, oh, why keep going on about that stopping in the area and watching someone cross the ball? That speaks to a louder. Whatever. That's what it speaks to. That's why I'm so annoyed. How can you're the captain, bro? Could you ever? And it pains me to say this. Could you ever imagine Roy Keane not running after the ball to block something in the area? Could you imagine that? Or Tony Adams?
I think I understand what you mean. Kind of like it's symbolic of the whole situation, isn't it? Really, I think it's what you alluded to, the fact that everything seems to be all over the place. That was never the case. Liverpool were 5 steps ahead of everyone else when they were at the top of the table. So when you've got, as you said, medical staff, directors of football leave and not being in place, it's worrying. Just like the fact that Alisson's comment on attitude, it's worrying. And just like the fact us as fans can see the attitude isn't actually there. So it's a culmination of things which make you worry. There'll be a culmination of things which are the reason Liverpool aren't at the top of the game, which needs to be ironed out realistically throughout these next, how many games is it? 12 or 13 of
12 very long, hard
yeah. I think you've got to iron it out during that period. Otherwise, Liverpool will be going into next season in the same situation.
They'll be hearing this. Oh, we don't want that. We don't want that, bro. We don't want that. We don't want that, bro.
He's got 1 trophy to complete the set, bro.
2 Conference League. You get the Conference League as well.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking. I'm not trying to go to Anfield on a Thursday night, man.
Bro, at 6:25.
I get home all right, though. I get home a bit earlier. Listen, Eunice says, Ben, and I'm going to take this one away. I've got the pitch ready, bro. Try and put yourself in Klopp's shoes. How do you advertise this Liverpool project to Jude? And don't mention the word Gerrard. Well, it's simple because I remember I watched an interview with Jude about a year ago. And I kid you not, it sounded like this guy was talking about Liverpool. He said, I don't want to go to clubs where it's all about how much money you can get and how much glamour there is and all of these like materialistic things. things, and it's all about, all of that. I want to go to a club where the people will just adore you and the cities of that club will just adore you. And I was thinking, like, this guy is literally indirect in our club, man. Like, he's literally made for Liverpool. And I just feel like it's what Elliot said is bang on. You go to Real Madrid, you'll be a good player.
You're another guy.
But you're not,
You're
just another guy to add to Camavinga, to Valverde, to Modric if he signs another extension, to all these players. They'll probably sign Mbappe eventually as well. You're just adding to a list of names. If he comes to Liverpool, he could go down as one of the greatest. And I'm not saying that's going to happen because he'll have a long, long way to do that. But with the age he's at, with the trajectory he's going on, he could come to Liverpool for 5 years and still be only 25. And if he's done 5 years at Liverpool and, he feels like, okay, he's not done as much as he could have, he's still at the perfect age to, okay, now I can. God. I'm not saying that we become a stepping stone club. That's not what I'm suggesting at all.
No, I see what you mean. No, I don't know. I get what you mean.
If Real Madrid is his end goal, like, it's very early on in his career, because where does he go from there? Like, if he wants to stay at one club for the rest of his career, that's fine. But I just feel like we would be the perfect move for him. Like Elliot says, he'll come into our team. We'll build the team around him. He's already got mates here. Like, he loves Henderson. Like, let's not get that twisted. And if we do sign Bellingham, I truly believe, for all the slander and all the criticism that Henderson gets, he would have been a huge part in endorsing this. I truly believe that. Trent as well. I just feel like the only factor that we've all been alluding to in this chat and on this stream is, our FSG going to pay the money? That is the only thing. And you know what? This might be a controversial opinion. I think they will pay it.
Well, to add to that, I did see something whereby, again, I don't know if this is propaganda, but they said that they'd sorted out investment to give him a substantial amount, and anything he makes on top of that, he can spend it as well. Now, how far that is true, we'll see, because they like they're the kings of spin. Well,
yeah, I've been talking about this with Kev a lot at work as well. And to be fair, I did agree with him. And I think a lot of fans are in agreement. Caicedo, Nunes, and another centre mid for the same money that you'd spend on Jude would make more sense. Elliot, do you agree with that?
Maybe, but I think you're too far in with the Bellingham rumours to even suggest that from, like, Liverpool's perspective. I think it does make sense, but I don't think it makes sense to have all this build up, to have all this almost like briefing to the media. You've waited. You've done the pitch. You've done everything you can. Bellingham's teasing with every supporter on the planet, even with an Instagram post. It's too far in, and it'll be the most embarrassing thing, I think, if Liverpool don't get him. And I think it would be stupid for them to even. You should obviously have a plan B, but it's a bit worrying that they didn't have one for Tchouaméni. So, but I think the plan is like that as well as Bellingham. So I think the plan maybe is Nunes, Mount, and Bellingham. That's what the press maybe are alluding to. Whether that's what people think's needed, I'm not too sure myself. I think that's what the three will be. The three which has been linked and was continuing to be linked is Nunes, Bellingham, and Mount. I don't agree with that. I think one of them should be a defensive-minded midfielder anyway. But it seems almost like Bellingham's like out on his own, and then you've got another two anyway. I think that I understand what Kevin was saying. I think people might want to look at that because Liverpool maybe have restrictions on the money, but if they don't, I don't think that's a viable plan.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah,
listen, whatever it is, they have to put their hand in their pocket. We can't go into. We can't. There you go. I was just about to pronounce his name. The guy from what's it called? Sporting. Yeah, he's a quality player as well. But we can't go into 2020, 2024 with Fabinho and Milner in the midfield. I'm sorry.
It's unfair on them. It's unfair on them at that point. It's already unfair on them now.
Well, you know, like when they say they're flogging a dead horse, bro.
They're almost like destroying their own legacy. Bro. It's so harsh on them. Their legacy should be like they're past one of the greatest Liverpool teams, and now they're getting criticised every week because they're not up to the task. But you should have players ready to come in for them already. But
they are hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Players are not hungry, but their legs are not what they used to be, bro. They're not, and it's and if there was ever a bigger point to show that, the Madrid game was, because at no time did we take over the game and rise up? Wow, we're really hemming them in. At no point did we do that. So I'm sure Klopp knows what they're doing stuff behind the scenes, but they need to. You know what I'd like to see? Do you remember like when we lost against Madrid in the first final? Day after Fabinho, bam, long thing.
Mm-hmm. I do agree that would be the best thing to probably lift any sort of hopes or spirits at the end of this season.
Yeah, and just to end the stream, I guess, let's talk about the rest of the season then, because we've obviously got a break now before we play again. We're not playing until after the break. It's Man City away at 12:30. Does it get much easier, does it, Elliot?
No, I think we can all confidently write that one off, because for the start it's a half-12 game. So Liverpool don't do well.
Are we playing in the white kit? Well,
it'll be the red kit, won't it?
We've got a chance. If it's in the red kit, we've got a chance. If it's in that white kit, I wouldn't even have watched it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much confidence. But City haven't been great this season. We proved that at the game.
But you know what? You know what's so frustrating? It would be just Liverpool to go there and win.
Yep.
It would be just them to do that, and it's like, what?
And then we're back here again, aren't we? Saying the same thing. Yeah, we're back. Yes. I hate
this team, man. I swear, they're giving me Brendan Rodgers vibes. Where it's like, how do we beat this team 1 week, and then the next week we're losing to any relegation team?
I think the one positive thing with that is you can mirror it with the team which were going for top 4 in Klopp's first 2 full seasons. Beating the big ones who were going for them big games, and then they stumble. And I think
that's first season. Didn't we beat Man City 4-3 in their own stadium?
No, it was at Anfield, wasn't it? I think. And
no, was it 4-3 or 4-2?
No, I know which one you're on about. I can't remember whether it was Coutinho or Firmino
scored.
Oh, sorry, 4-1. Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah.
It's like they can go against them big teams, and I think it's the nice way of looking at it in some sort of positive way is that these teams maybe mirror each other at the moment. So maybe this Liverpool team next season will be back at it like that Liverpool team was a good few years ago. The next season, if you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but I think it's kind of the positive spin you can put on it, maybe. So maybe Liverpool will turn up the Etihad, but it's always been a tough game for the good Liverpool teams as well, though. So
I could see us getting a draw for that game.
We'll see.
I could actually see it.
Shigz, I know what game he's on about. It was the one where Coutinho absolutely destroyed them, wasn't it?
Ripped them, and Firmino as well.
Play like Coutinho anymore. But,
I remember doing that when he was sliding on his knees.
Oh, yeah.
Emre Can's back heel.
Yeah.
The memories. Look, we'll see what happens, man. I'll read out the fixtures. We got Man City away. I'll read out the next 3 because there's no point looking much further than them. There's not even much point looking much further than the next game. But Man City away at 12:30. Then we've got Chelsea away on the 4th of April, midweek. Again, I'm not a fan of midweek games, Premier League ones anyway. And then Arsenal at home on the 9th. So, Shigz, these next 3 games, mate, this is make or break stuff. Like, if you've had a look at our fixtures and you had to point like a section where it would be like, if you get through that, you get top 4. This is that point.
Can I make a bold statement?
We win them all.
No, we get 7 points out of those 3 games. We get 7 points.
I hear it, man.
I'm gonna say this now. Even though people will laugh, and I've kind of got the team. We beat Arsenal at Anfield.
Yes, and like Eunice says, let's destroy their title hopes. I'm salty. I'm bitter. I'm a horrible person when I want to be. And if Mikel Arteta finishes this season with the same amount of Premier League titles as Jurgen Klopp, I will be seething.
We beat Arsenal. We draw at Chelsea, and we beat Man City.
You change your opinion 2 minutes out.
You know what it is. Like I said, it's because
it's just Liverpool. It's just what we do. Like,
we say that, but hold on, Kevin. What did Kevin say? 7? What did he put up? 7 points.
7 points with a laughing face.
Yeah, he's laughing, but you shouldn't be laughing at that number 7, bro. You shouldn't be laughing at that number 7, man. You shouldn't even put that up. You shouldn't even put that up. But I know it's mad. I know it's mad after what I've just said. But
what do you guys
like? Something, man.
What do you guys want to see then? Like, do you want to see changes? Do you like what do we need to do?
But there's no changes you can make, bro.
This is the point.
I want to see Carvalho get more airtime. That's one thing I want to see.
Right? Hang on. You're saying that there's no more changes he can make, but then when he goes with the same thing, he gets criticised.
No, I want Carvalho in. I want Carvalho in the team. I want Carvalho in.
But like when he doesn't change things and he keeps persisting. Like you've just said it, and I agree with you. There's nothing much more he can do with what he's got, and I've always said that this season.
Yeah, I know, but look, for me, play Carvalho in the 10. You played Gakpo.
That's not going to happen, though, is it?
No, but you played Gakpo in the 10.
You got to
I kind of agree, but I want to see not even necessarily Carvalho. I think if he's going to if he wants to change the 4-3-3. Change it now, stick with it, even if it doesn't go well. You've got nothing to lose, because if he's going to change it to the Bernabeu, surely in the back of his mind he's thinking he's changing it anyway. Surely. There's got to be some sort of consistency there. Also with the fact that Bournemouth, he went with a 4 at one point in the game as well. If you're going to change it properly, go with it. And if it doesn't work, then say fair enough. But if you're going half and half all the time, it's never going to work.
One foot out. Yeah.
Do you guys think this could ever happen? Trent plays in midfield.
No.
I agree.
I think it's the stupidest thing. It's no offense to Eunice, but it's been said for years. I think it's one of the
Tell him how you really feel.
I think it's one of the stupidest things people always come up with just because he's one of the most creative players on the planet. Maybe not this season, of course, but I just don't agree with it. I don't think he'd have the legs for it in that Klopp system.
Not at all.
I know
that midfield is a battlefield, man. And you got to have your head on a swivel.
There's a reason why he played right back and Henderson was covering him, because it worked. If you're going to do it, you can't do that with Trent, because you're already restricting his creativity if you do that with him. So I don't think it works. Sorry, Eunice said right mid. I could the 4-4-2 that Liverpool done at some stage earlier on the season when just when someone was playing right midfield. I wouldn't be totally against that. On the other hand, but that's obviously a whole other question.
Yeah, well,
absolutely, guys, and. Look, we'll see what happens. We've got a couple of streams planned for this international break because we do want to keep bringing some podcasts. So we're going to have something lined up. So stay tuned for that, guys. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you never miss it. And I guess we'll see you after this international break, which is ridiculous.
God, we need it. We need this break.
We need it, but I think it's ridiculous because we just had the World Cup and all of this.
Nah, bro, listen, take your break. Go lick your wounds.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen, Shigz, right? We're going to get players come back in 2 pieces.
Oh, don't say that, man. Don't say that.
Jota has literally just come back from injury. I think he's been picked for Portugal. I think it's
can't they just feign injury like they normally do?
Hopefully, well, listen, the players like Trent Alexander-Arnold and all those guys that haven't been picked, they should just go on holiday, just chill, just forget about football for 2 weeks and just try and get some sort of like refreshness back into the system. But guys, thank you for watching. If you made it to this point, please smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.